In yesterday's podcast, I had the opportunity to sit with Brian Shuster. He is a visionary OG entrepreneur and pioneer in the metaverse space. He has over 100 patents related to the internet technologies and virtual worlds. His passion lies in creating immersive online communities where people can connect, collaborate, and thrive. We are finally getting to the point in the technology world where all of these things are about to converge. It is a brilliant time to be alive, and Brian has been pushing this narrative for years and years. He is so excited where we are, where we're going. I hope you enjoy the conversation.
Well, hey there, Chris.
What is going on? Listen, I just hit the record button, so I hope that's okay.
I just confirmed it, so that is okay.
Good. Tell me how your day is.
Things are going really well today.
And just
It's
catch me
been
up. Where are you calling in from?
it's Vancouver up here in British Columbia.
You guys have snow yet?
No.
Is-
We've been having a pretty mild season. When I first moved here, we wouldn't get snow every year for sure. Went multiple years without snow, so maybe we're returning to that normalcy. People have a misunderstanding of Canada, think it's all the Great White North. We're a West Coast province, a West Coast city. We get West Coast weather.
Okay, brilliant. Are you ready for the
Yeah.
holidays?
We're getting there for sure. I mean, for me, holidays mean just a different kind of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty ready. How about yourself?
Yeah, life has been interesting, tumultuous, good and bad.
Yeah.
My father recently just passed away, which was terrible to
I'm
deal
sorry.
with. I moved
Yeah.
from Miami. I am now in Austin, Texas, and it brings with it a whole
Oh,
new realm of possibility, but the transition has been interesting. But let's get into some stuff. You talked about work
too.
changing for the holidays. Give us just what does that mean for you? What are we talking about?
Well, for us, we run Otherverse. We run Otherverse Classic. We run Otherverse Xeon. So we're a huge social platform, of course, in addition to many other things. So for us, we've got a holiday patch coming out to Otherverse Xeon beta. And that's going to incorporate all kinds of holiday festivities, Christmas, Hanukkah,
Absolutely.
Winter Wonderland stuff, different adventures in the beta. So, of course, I'm managing that, working through the holidays, but that's a holiday for me. I mean, my favorite thing to do is work. I get depressed when, I don't have work to do. And then, of course, on the 4th, on January 4th, we're doing our first really big celebrity concert in Otherverse Xeon with the 80s superstar Tiffany and Donovan. And, we've got a really big show
Donovan.
planned there. Yeah. Donovan, you remember?
It's funny. Just we'll circle back to all this stuff because there's a couple things I want to touch on. But I know that since early on, like in the '90s, you started out pioneering stuff on the web, and I would love to touch on that. And it's funny, dude. There's so many things I want to press the button on, but yeah, talk to me about just. Because we're at this time, right, where we've got this confluence of cryptocurrency, Web3, the metaverse, all of these things, AI, all of these things happening at the same time.
Right.
To me, it's the biggest thing to me that I've ever seen in my life. I remember the internet. I remember the cell phone. We'll talk about the early internet, but give me your run of it back in the '90s.
So absolutely. I mean, I've been predicting this confluence of everything. And it's really all coming together exactly in the time frame that I was predicting, which includes, of course, virtual reality, immersive environments, augmented reality. On the one hand, mobile, artificial intelligence. I wrote a seminal novel about artificial intelligence called The Minerva Virus back 15, 16 years ago now. That's published, well reviewed.
By who?
I've
Like
had
your family?
what's that?
Come
No,
on.
my family is not going to give me a good
Yeah.
review. I'm kidding. I have a great relationship
I'm
with them.
playing. Go ahead.
But real insights into AI back from almost 20 years ago. So I've been in all of these spaces, and of course, we weren't calling it metaverse. I was calling it virtual world web back 20 years ago when we started pioneering these immersive environment concepts, and that is a new layer of the internet, and that's where my history of pioneering the commercialization of the internet in the 90s really comes into play. That knowledge base has really guided my companies and all of these different technology areas, because this layer of the internet, we could call part of it is metaverse, part of it is Web3, but it all centers around this new virtual world web, this new layer of the internet. It's all about digital assets, digital currencies, your digital footprint, your digital life, and how that enhances your real world life. So, really, like if you imagine, like if we talk about cryptocurrency and why it has had such a rough time getting a foothold in terms of doing regular transactions in the brick and mortar world, it's so much easier to throw down a credit card and just pay on plastic using fiat. Um, and that's what people have been trained to do. But online and on the internet, everything is about digital. So that is natively where cryptocurrency is going to live. It's native for digital assets. It's native for digital services, counseling services, or wedding planning, or DJing, or attending events. All of that digital service stuff. And so that's where cryptocurrency really comes into its own, and that will bleed over into the real brick and mortar economy. That's
Absolutely.
where I've been predicting forever digital currencies. We started one back before Bitcoin, but we got stopped out with turning that into a large scale global machinery for payments because of all of the laws around having your own money back in those days. Really, Satoshi just demolished all of that with Bitcoin and decentralized ledger. So
It's the moment of time that we are experiencing, and
yes.
it's so profound. And I think that if I were to throw a number, I would say we have maybe 4 more years of this gold rush opportunity, like when the internet came out, like these first things, because I think at some point the introduction of AI is going to become such a driving force in this that the workforce is going to be dwindled. And
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
I don't know how. Not to speak as an alarmist, but I'm just thinking like,
well, wait.
and what just
I,
so the point is that this little gold rush, I think there's going to be this time where investing in these things for the next 4 or 5 years is going to compound your wealth moving forward. And I feel like after this little window, I feel like it's going to be more difficult. For instance, kids today that are just getting out of school, that are thinking about their first home, it is near impossible for that to happen with a starting salary at a job basically anywhere. And this is kind of a blanket thing across the country. And it didn't used to be like that, where you could have an average paying job and get a starter home somewhere and begin building a life. So I think the younger generation is looking at this digital realm as digital gold and their opportunity to get ahead so they can buy property.
so I should I blow your mind
Yeah, yeah.
here?
Like that's so dude, questions are questions, right? Like
All
let's
right.
yeah, like let's get into it.
So I spend a lot of time as a deep thinker. And I debated many years ago after I wrote the Minerva virus. I debated whether I wanted to do a physics theory. I've solved a major problem in physics, and whether I want to write that up, or whether I wanted to write up an economics theory. And I ended up doing both, although I never finished the economics theory. But let me tell you what that was. The economics of post-productive economies. And the idea here, the theory, the concept behind the economics of post-productive economies is a post-productive economy. So throughout all of human
for
history,
everybody, let's break that down. Just
I will.
yeah, just a bit, just to keep everybody
I'm going to,
along
believe
with
me,
us.
everybody's going to be fascinated by this.
Okay.
Um, Throughout all of human history, it has taken the labor of more than one person to produce all of the goods and services that are desired by one person. So if you go way back in time, you have kings and pharaohs, and they may have 100,000 people producing the goods and services that they want to live the lifestyle
The
that they
funnel
want.
effect.
Right. And that, as efficiency has has compounded through the ages, and particularly in the last few hundred years, right? We start to get to where it's 10 people and 5 people. And I love to use the example of the
It,
music industry.
it's not as wide, right? The
In
amount of
fact,
people.
in the
Correct.
music industry, we have gone from where it would have taken, the artist, the agent, the recording studio, the record label, the music store,
Perfect.
the
Perfect analogy.
press, right? And now you record it. And so what is the value of a song now? Well, the value of a song is really nothing except the distribution of that song, the artificial increase in value. Whereas you would used to have to buy the record. So there was money that needed to transact. Now, in a post-productive segment of the economy, music, one person can produce
It's
the music
available.
for everybody.
It's
And
available.
it may not even take one person. AI can do it. And in the digital realm, we have moved into a post-productive economy. That is hugely disruptive. It's never happened in the history of the world. So what we're going to see
What?
is a new definition of wealth, where if you put on a virtual reality headset or you have a direct neural implant to be able to live in this immersive environment, you can be living in a small, I don't want to say that this is what I'm advocating for, right? But the reality of the world is you can live in a small a studio apartment anywhere in the world, and you could be flying on private jets. You could have your own yacht. You've got a massive, clothing inventory. You can attend the best concerts, the best trade shows, the best events with your friends from all over the world, immersively and digitally. And so this is where I see the pivot in post-productive economies, where things don't have a real value except the artificial value of artificial scarcity. And how is it that people generate wealth here? Well, you generate it on your what we've already started to see, on your personality, on your followers, on your inputs in the digital realm. You still need to have things produced for you, food and shelter, and these types of things to live your real life. But much of the wealth is going to transfer to digital. And that's where metaverse comes in. That's where augmented reality comes in. That's where all of these technologies to enhance life. Because you're right, there's no way somebody on a salary can afford a home anymore. That's ridiculous. You need to have an alternate way of
Oh,
generating wealth.
and let me just be because this is really interesting, and the financial side of it. It's not that it's boring, but it's everybody's talking about it. So what's interesting is this: is we're talking about the next step, the future forward, and I'm in absolute agreement that we have this new digital world that's coming. What is what's the unlock, right? What's the unlock as far as user experience and user interface? And if the statement right now is it's a headset, that's not.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. The
Yeah,
headset is a clunky,
how do we get it to the end zone? And I hate
right.
scratch.
Here,
I hate football.
I know.
I'm so sorry I
I
said
mean,
that.
how do we get it past that
The goal
threshold where
line.
it's mass adoption, right? Um, and the answer to that is we are recapitulating the same pattern of internet adoption. So with our metaverse platform, I really hate using the word metaverse because really what we have done is we've reconstituted the internet, and we've added a new layer to the internet. So my company, over 20 years, with all of our patents and all of our high-tech experience and tens of millions of dollars, we've redesigned the protocol layers, we've redesigned the architecture of the internet, but we're doing it in a way that it's going to sit on top of the standard internet, what I call the flat web. The flat web becomes a tool set within the immersive web. You have a new web browser, the Xeon browser. We've introduced this. It's in beta. You can get it now. It's free on otherverse.io. You download the Xeon browser, and then you can browse. I mean, you can browse to any kind of metaverse, any kind of virtual immersive environment. You just do it the same way you normally do. You type in a URL, or you click a hyperlink, or you do a search. You know, we run a search engine for it. And you will create an avatar. You may need to create multiple avatars if, you know, one of the environments you're going to is a game, and maybe, you know, one of them is nude beach, and then one of them is church. You know, you're not going to take your avatar from the nude beach over to the church, right? I mean, there's going to be access control layers that we haven't seen necessarily on the flat web, that will come into play here.
And so as just a pioneer of this idea, right? What's when I'm an artist and designer and a creator, so I
Right.
think of this experience possibly where you have a room in your house, and
Right.
it's a square box, a big box, but every wall is an LED tile, and you are immersed in this experience, and just a simple set of goggles or glasses
Yeah.
to, I mean, okay. And so
Yes.
and we talk about the advent of the cryptocurrency and digital currency being involved in this, and your ecosystem. Do you have tradable assets?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, let me first roll back this idea of headsets, because, you know, I mentioned it. It is a technology, but the idea, just like the flat web, you can access it from any device. You access it from your mobile phone. You're not going to get an immersive experience on your mobile phone, right? But you can engage with a store owner, or, you know, one of your customers, or, you know, you can attend a quick thing, or you can manage your inventory. Most people will access for a long time on a screen, a computer. You know, when you want a high fidelity experience, you might put on a headset,
And
because it's fantastic for that.
it's almost not even worth talking about the super high end
Right,
evolution of it. The bottom end, the everyday user across the world.
right,
How
right,
how is there an experience created that is different for everybody?
right. Well, and this is, you use the access that is the most suitable for what it is, for the content you're trying to get. So you know, and of course the technology drives innovation. Um, well, technology drives the commerce, and then the commerce drives innovation. So, you know, in this virtuous loop, headsets right now don't really have a use case. I mean, they kind of do. I've got them. You know,
But it's
many
still a
people have
novelty.
headsets. Right. But when you can actually go 24 hours a day and interact with your family from around the world, your friends from around the world, for, you know, $20, you get a box seat at the Super Bowl, because we aren't limited anymore. It's again this idea of you know, post-productive economy. Anybody could have a box seat. You know, that's when your life is enhanced. That's when you say, well, I really do want a headset because I want to see everything as if I'm really there. And that's when there's really money in headsets to say, well, now we need to make them better, lighter, more integrated. They become glasses, they become contact lenses, and then you're just living with augmented reality, and the access is as easy as, you know, as can be anywhere in the world. So, you know, we've got to take one step at a time here. But we've
I
already
don't
got
know how.
patents on.
Listen, you've been at this since 1995. I don't know what you're talking about. You should be out of patience. Like, and you're saying it happens as it should. Eh, It's so interesting when we see new people come into this fold of technology, commerce, digital, the blockchain, all of these things. The excitement that they bring is wonderful. And I think the initial thought is always this is going to happen next year. And
Right,
the
right. The
short term,
hardest lesson.
Yeah.
for me has been patience. One of the things that I tell new entrepreneurs is often, if somebody is very creative and they're very inspired, the best thing that you can do is sit on your hands. It's
It's
why I
so
wrote the
difficult.
novel. It's why I wrote my physics papers.
Right.
It's like, okay, there's only so much I can drive the team before they actually build it. And all I'm doing now is telling them
Annoying the
stuff,
shit out of
add this in.
everybody.
Right. And they're like, let me finish. We
Yeah.
just had this meeting yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need all the, like, okay, I am going to step out of the way. And you're right, 30 years, over 30 years in the space now, has been, it's been very challenging to be patient. But when you're trying to do something which is, as important a work as this, I regret that I didn't get into the internet just a few months, maybe a couple of years earlier,
Oh,
because
come
I
on.
saw the deficiencies. Well, I saw the deficiencies in the way that, like the Mosaic browser was introduced. I said, this is going to be subject, like, I mean, I didn't know the word yet, but spam and phishing attack, all of that could have been rooted out at the beginning. And it
Right.
wasn't because it was a trust. Everybody trusted each other. We're all scientists here. We're all working for governments or universities. So
But and
uh,
it's interesting. It's also created by forward thinkers, innovators, creatives, and technology drivers. And they create this road, and as soon as it's paved, humanity comes in, and we
right.
forget that humanity needs speed limits, it needs guardrails, it needs these things. So
And that's where I talk about these new protocols with access control layers, for example, because I know what will happen. The community that I'm starting with, that I'm bringing in, they're all really about, taking away the harms that social media are doing, re-engaging people like face to face as avatars, yes, but
I'm sorry
better
for
than
cursing
as,
earlier.
what's that?
I said I'm sorry for cursing earlier.
Oh, no, 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 no. Hey, look, I'm edgy. That's part of humanity, is part of
Right.
part of having fun and enjoying life, but really about respecting and loving other people. And it's easy to get carried away with these fights on the internet.
Yeah, I
As an anonymous person, if we could circle back around, take
flag
technology,
me.
sort of jujitsu it in a way, now it
We're
works
all
for
gonna make
us.
it.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right. The window is short, and people should jump in early if they want to stake a claim. We've got a cryptocurrency, of course, the Uther token,
And what chain are
um,
you guys
and
on?
we're on Solana.
Awesome.
Um, Yep. And you're going to be able to find the contract address on our front page at otherverse.io. And this is going to be, Bitcoin serves the function as a store of value. The
Mhm.
Uther token serves the function as the medium of exchange. That is what it's designed to do. It's designed with social hash rate. It's designed really in a way that rhymes with Bitcoin's design. It is designed to become the cryptocurrency that ultimately is on its own layer one and is the commerce, is the medium of transactions across all digital platforms. Because all digital platforms and all people are going to continue to use the internet. They're just going to upgrade to this third generation internet with the Xeon browser.
Okay, so yeah, like I'm a huge Solana nerd. I love Solana. So you're
Yeah,
you're preaching to the choir.
awesome.
It's really interesting. You guys have a shit ton of users, and
Yes.
it's it's what's coming down the pike for you guys? Like you are such a forward thinker, and while sitting on your hands, I know is possibly good advice. It doesn't mean that your mind stops working. I'm a creative, and I like I have post-it notes literally everywhere just because I need to get ideas out and get them into physical space. What is coming
Right.
down the pike in the future forward?
All right. Well, we do have a 25-year roadmap, but I'm not going to focus on the stuff that's 25 years out. But I will just footnote that we've got patents already on a technology that I call adaptics, which is what you were talking about earlier. If you're in a room and it's got four walls, those four walls aren't just going to be LEDs. They are going to be the holodeck for you. And we've developed technology, which is the holodeck, where you can literally touch things, you can shake hands, you can hug, you can, engage in a physical world with somebody who is a hologram remotely, or things that are holographic.
Okay, and
So
now listen. There was an article that I wrote on my Substack. It may have been about 2 years ago, but there was a gentleman. I want to say he was taken from the Disney team, but he had
yeah.
created this floor.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Oh, yes.
omnidirectional floor.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you've got this holodeck, and you're walking 6 miles to work if you want.
Right, right. Well, the omnidirectional floor, that certainly could be a part of this. That's not included in the Adaptix patent stuff. The Adaptix patent stuff really leverages my experience as a physicist, and leverages a lot of mechanical engineering technologies, fluid dynamics, and all of these things. But it's remarkable what you can create. But I said I wasn't going to talk about that because that's more off in the future. What's happening over the next couple of years, which is really, really supremely relevant, is first of all, we've launched out in beta our Otherverse Xeon, our flagship metaverse. On the platform. This is designed for us, as we say in the software business, to eat our own dog food, meaning we're using our own tools. We develop our tools. We're using them to build metaverses for ourselves, for third parties.
For us, by us, everything.
Then we will be opening tools for people to be able to create clothing for avatars and sell them, and create this digital economy. Already the tools exist for people to be able to have events. So meetups, film screenings, comedy, karaoke, concerts. You can schedule that with us. They're put on, but that will evolve as well, so that you can build your own regions, your own spaces, create your own metaverse within our metaverse. That's going to move as we get into the later part of the year into what we call the Otherverse Sovereign system. The Otherverse Sovereign system allows anybody to register a domain name with us on this new, VWW protocol, and build their own metaverse using our tools that can be completely wildly different from our metaverse. It doesn't need to use human avatars. It could be a game. It could be a two-dimensional metaverse, like anything you want to build, right? Attach it to our platform with a hyperlinking system, and then you're on your own sovereign. You create the rules. There's some rules. This is what I was getting at earlier. Some rules that you can't bend, like, we have prohibitions that are built into the root layer against spam, against phishing attacks, against fraud. There's ability to escrow things and that type of thing
built in.
Right, the safety layer, but and some similar legality stuff. But beyond that, you're in control of your own physics. You're in control of your own user interface and all of these other aspects. And that's going to be where things really get exciting. That's where, as easily as somebody can put together a website, they can put together a metaverse for their project, for their personal, for whatever, attach it with hyperlinks, start trading links, start trading traffic and views, and everything explodes within a few months. I expect there will be billions of users. And that's where we start to go, okay, well, now we're going to move technology forward with virtual reality, with Adaptix, and with all of these other pieces. So, I mean, I suppose that's a really broadly sketched out roadmap, but along the way, the early adopters, the people who come in first, obviously are going to have first mover advantage. So this is where the new sort of kings and queens of influencers and
this is where it happens.
Right. You get your foothold in early.
And so, Brian, we've got about a minute and a bit left. I just want to ask you, what type of social footprint do you guys have? Are you on X? Are you in Disc? Aside from the world,
oh yes.
Talk to me about your footprint outside.
You find them all on our website at otherverse.io. It's UTHERVERSE.io, and it's we Discord and X, our main ones. We're on Telegram. We've got a YouTube channel. And we're really active, engaged with our community, because everybody's excited. We're all chomping at the bit to get out of beta. But even beta is, getting really good. So
So the
uh,
fact that it's in beta does mean that people are still early, and it is a fucking good time to get involved. Brian, the thing is gonna run
definitely.
out. Listen, I would love to do this again because there's so many
You
side.
bet so
We,
much.
yeah, and we can do it so it won't be on a 30-minute time zone. I appreciate you
Excellent.
so much. I'm definitely gonna circle back with you. I'm wishing you and
Awesome.
your happy holidays to
Well,
everybody.
happy holidays, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
thanks for
everybody.
tuning
Awesome.
in.
Thanks, man. Okay.